Okay, this line represents time. We're going to start from basically the beginning of the actual world timeline. So right here, 1977. This is when the hatch was created. So this is the incident, right? This is when Jack and company are back there trying to stop the incident by blowing up the nuke. So they blow it up here. That's a fixed point in time. Now, we're going to travel forward to 2004. So this is when the plane crashed, right? You'll notice it's the same timeline. It's because it actually is. When the plane crashed in 2004, they had already been to 1977. The world had already seen Jack and company back in the past. This is evidenced when we're in 2007, and we see there's the shed that Sun goes into where she sees all of our friends at the orientation in, I believe it was 1974. Some of these years are probably wrong, but you get it. So, we're gonna erase this now. So, 2004, plane crashes. That's when everything starts. We go along, we're a few days, we're a few months into it, and then they move the island. Move the island right here, and some of them jumping around through time, back here. They finally end up 1974. We know this because they're there for 3 years. So, Sawyer, Juliet, and everybody, they're in 1974. They live for 3 years, they get to this point. This is when the incident starts. So we'll notice all these people went from this current timeline, where we moved the island, they went back to 1974. So this is Sawyer and Juliet and Faraday and Miles. So they're there, they're jumping around. But it's at that time then, the island moves, the people that went on the boat who weren't on the island, they keep going. They're going here. They're there for about 3 years. We get to 2007. This is when everybody says they gotta go back to the island. So they get everybody together, they get on the plane, and they make the flight to the island. This is where Jack and Kate and all those dudes, they go to 1977, where Sawyer and Juliet and Miles and Faraday have been living for 3 years. They're here. They come up with the idea, they want to stop the incident. That's Jack's whole thing while he's there. The idea being, detonate a nuke at the pocket of energy, which is going to be the Swan Station. And that will make it so that it never happens, that it negates it. This is the point where people get confused. This is where we're led to believe that we are now given another timeline, where here in 2004, the plane does not crash. This is where we get the flash sideways. Flash sideways, this is all the scenes in the 6th season where you see all of them successfully land in LA. And then they all start to meet each other. And toward the end of that, timeline, whatever, they all meet up. They all meet up in that church. I'm going to say right here is this church, and we're going to just deviate here for a second. So this is the scene. They've all met each other at the church, and this is where people think this is why they're dead the whole time, because now you see this timeline is not an alternate timeline. It's purgatory. People get confused that this means that they died right here when the plane first crashed. That's not what happened at all. What we have here is a red herring. It is not an alternate timeline. When people die in the show, so Juliet dies here, Jack dies here, maybe Kate dies here, maybe Hurley, as the protector of the island, dies 300 years from now. No matter when they die, they all go to this purgatory, which is outside of time. Then, that's when they all move on to afterlife. I can clearly write very well. So, timeline stays. The timeline does not change at all. Nothing they do changes the course of events. They said it all the time in season 5. What happened, happened, and there is no changing that. So, not dead the whole time. They all live their full lives. When they're dead, they then go here. We know this in the finale, where it's explaining the scene where people think that they're dead the whole time. Jack's dad, Christian, says, everything you went through happened. The people you met happened. The experiences that you went through, they all happened. This happened, all of this. They were not dead the whole time. They lived, they went through all their stuff. Time travel happened, which already always the case. Timeline continues. It's a time loop with the afterlife thrown in as a red herring. I hope this makes some sense. Ask me if it doesn't. I will probably make fun of you for not getting it though. Or maybe I'm a bad explainer. Who knows? Either way, here's what you got. I'll link a video. David Lindelof was talking with Josh Topolsky from The Verge. This is a few years ago when he was still part of The Verge. And they went for like 20 minutes and they explained the whole thing about him not being dead. It's a great watch if you feel like you got 20, 22 minutes or whatever. If not, if that's nerd shit and you don't care, don't watch it. Just pay attention to this. This should be easy to understand.